Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Well, one of my broken record themes over the years has been the importance of requiring financial advisors to have a legal responsibility to act as a fiduciary. Now, acting as a fiduciary simply means that the advisor is required to put the consumer's best interest first. Like attorneys and accountants, financial planners who register with the SEC as registered investment advisors have such a fiduciary responsibility to their clients. However, not every advisor or every person who calls themselves a financial planner is registered with the SEC and required to act as a fiduciary. Currently, stockbrokers and agents selling financial products like annuities, life insurance, mutual funds, they are not required to register with the SEC and act in their customers' best interests. Their fiduciary duty is to the companies they work for, not to the consumers who buy their products. The Financial Regulatory Reform Bill, now before Congress, originally would have extended this fiduciary standard to every provider of financial advice. Currently, Australia has this type of system. Brokers who combine product sales and investment advice have a built-in conflict of interest. Their jobs depend upon selling products that generate the most profit for their companies, with only a vague legal requirement that those products be suitable for their companies. Now, in recent years, large financial institutions began offering increasingly complex and in some cases unregulated and unrated investments. The lines between banking services, sale of financial products, and investment advice became increasingly blurred. In too many cases, the best interest of the consumer was completely left out of the picture altogether. In some cases, these companies' actions brought huge losses for themselves and their investors. Now, these losses, coupled with the current economic crisis, brought demands from the public for protection against these predatory investments. Congress is currently considering a broad regulatory reform bill. The Senate version originally included a crucial provision that would have held every provider of financial advice to a fiduciary standard. This provision has strong support from consumers of financial advice. Now, Senator Tim Johnson from South Dakota, who is a member of the Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, added an amendment cutting that requirement. Senator Johnson thinks that the Senate should study the issue a little more. Well, what is there to study? The idea is very simple. Either consumers deserve to have the financial advice they pay for in their best interests, or they don't. I believe consumers do deserve advice that's in their best interest. To those of us who are fiduciary practitioners, the solution is obvious. Require everybody to act in the best interest of their customers and clients by imposing a fiduciary standard. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to influencing legislation, the financial professionals supporting a fiduciary standard are just overwhelmingly outnumbered. Financial planners who choose to be fiduciaries are far fewer than those in the financial product sales industry, which has the financial clout to make large campaign contributions. My colleagues in the financial planning profession and I believe that small investors, purchasers of IRAs, and consumers in general would be better served if anyone wanting to sell them financial advice were required to act in their best interests. Yet without some significant lobbying from taxpayers, the Senate is almost certainly going to pass a regulatory reform bill that lacks this important consumer protection. Now, whether you support or oppose keeping the fiduciary requirement in the regulatory reform bill, please let Senator Johnson know. His office address is 136 Hart Senate Office Building, Washington, D.C. 2510. His telephone is 202-224-5842. You may want to ask for Laura Swenson in his office. It's dealing with this issue directly. His website is johnson.senate.gov. And for his South Dakota offices, you can call 1-800-537-0025. I'm emailing him this column, and with any luck, he'll become a regular reader. Thanks for joining me.